Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Jitsi Community Call. I haven't been able to make it on the last, I don't recall if it was one or two instances, so good to be back. Let's start with the team. Anyone from the team want to do any updates on what we're working on? Maybe let's do the running update on 10,000 participants. Damien?
Yeah, we're still working on some changes in the client about sending the initial conference IQ to GCOFO via HTTP. So that's one of the last pieces. It's a result of our testing that we need to do that.
Yeah, I actually like that one. What we found out, for everybody's sake, is that the initial join of all 10,000 people to the same prosody kind of saturates the XMPP side of things. So we're switching that off to HTTP, that initial join, to make sure that we can spread people across multiple prosodies without overwhelming the first entry one. So I really like that design. It's a neat thing. Thanks, Damien. Anything else you want to add? All right. Jonathan, you want to talk about AV1 and where we sit there?
Yeah, at this point, I think, I mean, it needs more testing, but I think the server side is done. Jaya, who's off today, has been working on the client side support, things like getting the configuring the bit rates we want for it and whatnot. So that'll still take a little bit of time, but after that, we can start testing things. Also, I also tested the support using the AV1 dependency descriptor with H264. That also seems to be working, so that's exciting too.
What is that, sorry?
You can use the AV1 dependency descriptor to do scalability and simulcast for H264 as well. So that's also exciting.
I don't understand why I wasn't. No, I didn't know about this. The AV1 what descriptor?
So the AV1, the way it actually works is it uses a header extension, which is actually independent of the payload. So it can actually be technically be used for any payload. So we're experimenting with using it for H264 as well, and that seems to be working. Though I haven't experimented with that terribly much yet. So
it seems to be working, as in, like, Chrome would generate AV1 header extensions for H264.
Yeah, it'll actually generate it for any scalable payload format. So.
Oh, and why did you? Oh, okay, right, okay. And how about the VP9 one?
It would work, but we already have the VP9 works running, so I don't want to mess with that. And I think there might be some weird corner cases with mixing the two scalability, but that's.
Wouldn't that help with end-to-end encryption though, if we got a VP9
Yes,
too?
it would. Yeah, yes, they could. For end-to-end encryption, we might want to use this for everything. So that's something we could experiment with in the future.
Okay. Well, that would make unnecessary the work to explicitly support VP9 in end-to-end encryption.
In theory, yeah.
I like the theory. All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Aaron, you wanted to talk about a change that we've done on the Jibris?
We are doing an experimental deployment of Jibris in the Docker containers that we've been building for a while. These are now deployed in a Nomad cluster across our different regions, and we are doing all of our live streaming from Jitsi through those now. So that's a change from our previous use of instances, and we'd love the feedback in the community. So anybody that sees something weird or doesn't get the behavior they were expecting on Jitsi for live streaming, I would love to know about it. So tag me in the community forum if you want my attention on it. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Anyone else from the team? Okay, opening the microphone to the floor. Any questions or comments from the community?
Bring to your attention the Start9 conversation about start9.com. That was the June 26th, and I see that it's on YouTube now. Did you happen to see that, Emil?
No. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'm going to to have a chat. Do you want to summarize it during this call, or you think it's not necessary?
No, I wouldn't be able to add any positive. I think what was recorded on June 26th is excellent.
Okay. Who here participated in that discussion?
There was Jesse and a representative from Start 9. He never gave his name.
And Aaron, what did you want to comment on this topic?
Just it was an interesting pitch for having Jitsi be packaged for another platform. It seems like an interesting fit, but it's the kind of thing that may not have a lot of adoption since there's customizations you need to have for Jitsi, and this is more like a push button type deployment situation. So it seemed like it could be interesting if a bunch of hurdles were overcome, but it didn't seem quite ready for the.
Is anyone willing to contribute time to work on this?
That was, I think, one of the sticking points for sure.
Okay. Well, if anyone
the platform wasn't quite ready for what we needed to be able to do, which was things like actually have a public IP address for the instance where stuff would be running, that kind of thing. Running Docker Compose with multiple containers. They weren't quite ready on their side either.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, then we'll keep that in mind and keep an eye on it and see whether there's any more interest and willingness to contribute in the future. Anything else?
Yes, if you don't mind, I mentioned about Rumble, a new platform. Were you able to look at how Jitsi would fit in with the Rumble as a live stream platform?
Yeah, I replied to you last time on this one too. It was just be an RTMP URL. And I did actually dig in later on and saw that one can send Rumble RTMP streams. And so it would just be as simple as putting RTMP:// into the live stream section, and you'll be streaming to Rumble.
Yeah, we've been supporting generic RTMP for a while, although it's not really obvious from the user interface. The link that says, start live streaming, you can actually pass full URLs there and this is a way to circumvent YouTube and just go to some other location. So just get the RTMP link from Rumble, put it in there, and off you go.
Thank you for looking into that.
Yeah, I'd love to take credit. We didn't look into it. It just has been working for a while. So it just works. Anyone else? Let's see. Stan likes the poll feature in chat. Great, glad you like it, Stan. Carrie is asking a question: do people run their own Jitsi servers for a LAN-only conferencing, specifically as a security camera system? I'm not aware of people doing that. I don't know why. So in theory, you should be able to do it. I would be concerned if by LAN only you mean not only does it only work on the local LAN, but it also has zero access to internet. I would wonder whether something might fail. I don't know if we have any external dependencies. I don't believe so. Especially if you run with no third parties, the no third parties thing. You have to make sure that all of your DNSs are properly resolving. So you have to make sure you have that in place. But other than that, I think it should work. Damon, did you want to comment something there? Or?
No, this with the cameras, this means that the cameras needs to be like devices on your computer where you'll be running.
Oh, they need to be separate devices, separate computers, right? That every camera needs to have something behind it, like the Android app or a web browser running to power it. Yeah.
I think it's.
Well, I was thinking that if necessary, I could run a bunch of tablets, each one separate. But if I run it in a browser, can't I run three Jitsi clients on one computer in a browser? with 3 cameras and 3 mics?
Sure, I don't see why you couldn't, but I have one question, which is, what's the benefit of having your Jitsi be your backend for that instead of any of the open source security system type things that are out there?
Maybe they're expensive $500 systems that will do this, but every location will be a master, and specifically my dog, I can have one for the dog so that she can watch outside, and whenever there's a noise somewhere, she can see what's going on outside. And if she barks inside, it'll show her, so it'll train her not to bark inside.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't disagree. If you find a cool use for Jitsi, we're all in. I know there are other security system things that are out there that are even open source that you might also consider researching, because Jitsi is more focused on the conference side of things.
Yeah, sorry.
Like I said, this would be one of the things would be for my dog who is crippled.
It's a great use case that I never would have considered, for sure.
But there's no cookbook. Nobody's done this before. There's no cookbook. I mean, I'm kind of a beginner, so if nobody's done this before, there's no place I can go and find instructions.
No, I don't think there is that. And I just want to. I'm sorry. Do you mind muting when you're not speaking, because I'm getting echo back from you? Thank you. When Aaron said, if you find a new interesting use case for Jitsi, we're all in, as in we will be cheering for you, but we're not able to optimize Jitsi for things that are too far off from meetings. So we're very much interested in hearing if you experiment with this, how it goes, and good luck. Sounds like an interesting thing to hear about. All right, Corby is mentioning that he's seen some interesting discussions about running Jitsi in the LAN on the community page. I might look that, or Corby, if you want to share the links where you've seen these discussions, I'm sure that would be appreciated. Any other questions or comments? I was a maintainer and PC still confused me. All right, if there's nothing else, there's a raised hand. Who's that? That is Bob. Bob, what's up?
Yes, quick question. I put it in the chat. Could the live streaming verbiage be changed on a custom install, where it says, I don't YouTube something or other, whatever else. So if somebody wants to do it, they may not think that it's only YouTube. That it could be any platform versus just YouTube. I know it works, but could the verbiage be changed on a custom install so it would just be generically live streaming URL kind of verbiage there?
Christo, do you want to answer? Is that why you're raising your hand to comment on this, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So actually on Jazz, you for sure can change it, because we had some questions about that recently. Now on custom Jitsi platform, I mean, probably you know that, but you can always go into the language files and change it, right? Other than that, more easier way, I cannot think about.
So Bob, just to be clear, when Christo refers to Jazz, I think, Christo, what you mean is using the iframe API. You don't have to necessarily be a customer of Jazz to do this.
No. So it's actually part of the dynamic branding.
Oh, it's the advanced branding?
Yeah.
But wouldn't you be able to configure advanced branding for a standalone instance as well?
No,
Yeah, I think.
What's that, Damien?
We have some VPass checks in the code, so not all of those things work out of the box for the standalone.
Okay. So, okay, well then, Bob, it sounds like the answer is if you do that through Jazz, Jitsi as a service, the 8x8 service, you have a way of customizing that without client-side code even, by just configuring, some place where you could retrieve the advanced branding settings, which should be fairly easy. Now, that won't be a custom install, so it might not satisfy your requirements. And the issue in general with having this be more configurable is that, well, I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to having UX that looks a little bit more generic, but I don't think we'll have time to get to it. So if anyone's interested in contributing, we can see what we can do together. In the meantime, we're just going to have to drop the link in there.
But it could be done.
Well, it's code. Yes, the code can be changed to make this easier. I don't think there's no way where now you can deploy an instance and in a reasonable way change the naming. You could certainly look up the string and replace it, all right, but that would be a very hacky way of doing it and would be busted the next time you update. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. So the code can be modified, but you have to find someone willing to modify the code.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the input.
Sure. Anyone else? I don't see any more raised hands here. No questions in the chat. Last call. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for stopping by. And